So let us continue, students. Okay, fine. So we were discussing this electron movement to explain diamagnetism. All right. Now this is depending on Lenz's law. Okay, fine. I already explained to you all what Lenz's law is. Okay. Now, as I said, I have a simple way of explaining this thing. Just a minute. Need some empty space. Let me just draw this diagram. If you all want, you all can draw this for your convenience. Okay. This is a straight line. Okay, please try to understand that it is a straight line. Okay, fine. Now students, here I have drawn two loops. All right. In this loops, the straight line, this arrow that is there, it is indicating the external magnetic field. Okay, fine. I'll write it down. Basically, there are, I can draw many lines. I can draw many such perpendicular lines. So many lines means I am indicating magnetic flux. Okay. Students, see, changing the first point of Lenz's law, changing magnetic field. Why magnetic field changes? Because of changing lines of magnetic flux. So this changing magnetic field induces a current in the coil. So let me just write it like this as magnetic field. Okay, fine. So this is my magnetic field. All right, fine. Students, here I am explaining two scenarios. Okay, this is like first scenario and second scenario. Now, because of this is changing magnetic field. Now, because of changing magnetic field, what is happening? There is a current induced in this coil. Okay, there will be a current induced in this coil. Now, in the first scenario, what we'll do is, we will consider that the induced current is in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, fine. It is in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, and in the second scenario, it is the arrow that I've marked, all right, indicating anti-clockwise. In the second scenario, let us consider that the current is moving in clockwise direction. Students, you all are understanding the diagram, right? This is a loop. Okay, this is a wire loop which is kept in external changing magnetic field, and I have indicated the direction of that magnetic field. And there are two scenarios. Scenario A is when the current is moving in the induced current. Okay, the induced current because of the external magnetic field. So in the scenario 1, it is in anti-clockwise direction. Scenario 2, it is in clockwise. I'm not able to write it with the cursor, but please understand. You all are understanding the diagram, right? Please let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
see to
ma'am.
it that you all note it down. Okay, because here in terms of electron, what is there? If you all understand this concept that I'm explaining just now, you all will understand what is written over there as well. Okay, fine. All right. Now what we'll do is, okay, there is current induced because of the external magnetic field. Just a minute. There is current induced because of the external magnetic field, and the induced current has its own magnetic field. Okay, fine. Now what we are supposed to do is, we are supposed to find the direction of this induced magnetic direction of the magnetic field of this induced current. Okay, I'll explain what I'm saying. This over here, current is in anti-clockwise direction. What will happen if you all apply right hand thumb rule over here? Okay, if I apply right hand thumb rule over here, so think of it as if you are holding this coil like this, where the direction of the current, your thumb is along the direction of the current. Okay, fine. So when you hold it like this, all right, the curled fingers indicate the direction of the magnetic field. So students, in anti-clockwise scenario, the magnetic field of the induced current is in opposite direction. No, sorry, so sorry. It is along in the same direction as that of the external magnetic field. Okay, fine. The black line that is there, okay, the black line is indicating the magnetic field of the induced current. Okay, in anti-clockwise direction. And in clockwise direction, if you all apply right hand thumb rule to this current, okay, if you all apply right hand thumb rule like this, okay, the thumb is in the backward part according to my diagram. So here we will see that the magnetic field of the induced current is in opposite direction. Okay, fine, it is in downward direction. Okay, fine. I hope you all are understanding. Students, to be more specific, no, over here, this magnetic field, it adds up to the existing magnetic field. It is like this actually. All right, the original magnetic field is there, the original external magnetic field, and the magnetic field of the induced current adds up to the existing magnetic field in anti-clockwise direction, whereas in clockwise direction it is in opposite direction. I hope you all are understanding, and this we can determine by applying right hand thumb rule. Okay, fine. Now, what is the important point to remember over here? That which one is preferred? Whether to prefer anti-clockwise one or whether to prefer clockwise one. Okay, fine. Now, students, see, in anti-clockwise, what is happening? Already the magnetic flux or the magnetic field is changing. On top of it, another magnetic field. Like it is being added up, right? Magnetic field is increasing. Magnetic flux is increasing. Okay, this increasing magnetic flux will result into more current, more induced current. Okay, more induced. See, it is a continuous cycle. First, there is changing magnetic flux which induces a current. That induced current produces its own magnetic flux, the one in black over here. All right, which adds up to the existing changing magnetic flux. So there is more magnetic flux, more current. More current means more magnetic flux. Okay, so it is a continuous chain that is happening. All right, fine. So this continuous chain is not acceptable. All right, fine. Now, there's one point that it violates the conservation of energy theorem that is there, or conservation of energy rule. All right, magnetic flux भी बढ़ते जा रहा है, current भी बढ़ रहा है. Current बढ़ रहा है, इसीलिए magnetic flux बढ़ रहा है. So it is a continuous change. So that is the reason anti-clockwise direction of the current, induced current, is not preferred, but clockwise direction of the induced current is preferred. Okay, there's a tick mark. All right, fine. Okay, fine. So what you all can do is, students, you all can note down the diagram. Okay, you all can note down this diagram if you all want, or you all can just take a screenshot if you all want. Okay, fine. And you all can note down one point, that the induced current is preferred to move in clockwise direction. The induced current is preferred to move in clockwise direction because the induced magnetic field from the induced current will go against the magnetic flux. Magnetic flux means the external magnetic field. Okay, fine. So I'll repeat, the current flows in clockwise direction, or whatever the start point was, because induced magnetic field from the induced current, okay, induced magnetic field from the induced current will go against the magnetic flux. It means it is in the opposite direction. Okay, fine. Students, please let me know if you all understood what I explained just now.
Ma'am, can you repeat it?
The statement you want me to repeat?
Yes.
Okay, see, the induced current is preferred to move in clockwise direction because the induced magnetic field from the induced current, इसका मतलब है जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इंड्यूस्ड करंट के वजह से जनरेट हुआ है, ये जो मैंने ब्लैक कलर में ड्रॉ किया है वो. ओके, सो द इंड्यूस्ड मैग्नेटिक फील्ड फ्रॉम द इंड्यूस्ड करंट विल गो अगेंस्ट द मैग्नेटिक फ्लक्स. मैग्नेटिक फ्लक्स मतलब तुम लोग ब्रैकेट में उधर एक्सटर्नल लिख सकते हो, जो रेड वाला लाइन है, द एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फ्लक्स. ओके, सो द इंड्यूस्ड मैग्नेटिक फील्ड गोज इन ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन ऑफ द एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, इन सिंपल वर्ड्स. ओके, फाइन. All right, so let us move ahead. Okay, so let's get back over here. All right, now students, here the explanation is little different. Okay, the explanation is little different. They have explained it in terms of electron and everything. Let us try to figure out what they have written. Okay, fine. This point we already discussed, that the direction of the induced current is such that the direction of the magnetic field. Okay, see this point now over here, the direction of the induced current. Okay, the direction of the induced current is such that the direction of the magnetic field created by the current is in opposite to the direction of the external magnetic field. This is what Lenz's law is, and this is what I just explained to you all. जो अलग से डायग्राम बना के मैंने दो सिनेरियो बताया, कि एक anti-clockwise and clockwise. So why the anti-clockwise is not preferred, clockwise one is preferred. Okay, so in clockwise one, what is happening? Magnetic field, because of the induced current, is in opposite direction to the applied external magnetic field. This is what Lenz's law is actually, and obviously here also Lenz's law will be followed. Okay, let us move ahead. Out of the pair of orbits for one loop where the direction of induced, okay, I think so, I just okay, let's just read it. Out of the pair of orbits for one loop where the direction of the induced current is the same as that of the current loop current, we'll find a increase in current I. Okay, so students, the second diagram that is there, you all can mark this, will find a increase part. Okay, you all can see that in the second diagram, okay, where the electron is moving in anti-clockwise direction, the induced current and the original current are in the same direction. So if they are in the same direction, they will be added up, right? It is very obvious. If they are in the same direction, I plus I subscript I, they will be added up. Okay, fine. So it means that the current increases. Okay, which will result into increase in magnetic dipole moment. So this increasing current will result into increase in magnetic dipole moment. Okay, let's see the next point. For the current loop where the direction of induced current is opposite to the direction, like the first diagram. Okay, the induced current is in opposite direction to that of that original current. Okay, the net current is reduced because both the currents are in opposite direction. Current का value कम हो जाएगा, so this will reduce the magnetic dipole moment. Okay, fine. Students, more the strength of current, more is the strength of the magnetic field, more strong is the magnetic dipole moment. Less is the current strength, less is the strength of the magnetic field generated by the current, less is the magnetic dipole moment. Direct relation है सब, ठीक है? Okay, fine. So when in the second scenario, because these currents are in the same direction, the value strength of current increases, so magnetic dipole moment increases. In the first scenario, because both the currents are in opposite directions, their strength reduces. Okay, so magnetic dipole moment also reduces. Okay, fine. I hope you all are understanding this. Okay, fine. Student, okay, so this was pretty much diamagnetism. All right, I think so we covered everything over here. Okay, fine. Yeah, here just one part is there. What are the materials that are diamagnetic? So you all have to remember the examples: copper, gold, metal, bismuth, etc., etc. Okay, basically all the materials that are not magnets, because diamagnetic material moves away, right, from the external magnetic field. Okay, anything else to remember over here? All right, nothing else. So students, we are done with diamagnetism. Please let me know if you all have understood this topic.
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. Now students, before I move to paramagnetism, you all can see this blue box. Do you know? So please star mark this box and keep, because see, superconductors have susceptibility -1. This was discussed somewhere in this chapter before. All right, superconductors are where the current moves without any resistance. Okay, they have susceptibility -1. Minus means it is diamagnetic. Okay, fine. Negative values means diamagnetic, right? When superconductors are placed in external magnetic field, the field lines are completely expelled. We have seen, right? The material will repel the external magnetic field of lines. So the phenomenon of perfect diamagnetism in a superconductor is called Meissner effect. You all have to remember this name. Okay, fine. Because superconductors, they possess perfect diamagnetism. Normally what happens, normally if the materials are diamagnetic, one or two magnetic lines are able to penetrate from the material. Okay, it is possible that एक दो magnetic line अंदर से निकल जाए. All right, but this does not happen in superconductors, because superconductors show perfect diamagnetism. They don't let any external magnetic line penetrate through them. Okay, and this is called Meissner effect. Okay, fine. Next, what is written? If a good electrical conductor is kept in a magnetic field, the field lines do penetrate the surface region to certain extent. Okay, for a good conductors that are there, in that some amount of magnetic lines are able to penetrate from inside the material, but that does not happen in superconductor. So we can say that superconductors are not good conductors. Okay, fine. So this point is important. let's move ahead to paramagnetism. Okay, fine. All right. Now, students, again, the same point that I've been discussing till now, that any material is said to be a magnetic material if it has magnetic dipole moment in it. Now, there are materials which have magnetic dipole moment in them, but the net magnetic dipole moment is zero. Again, this point also I've already explained. Why? Because all the dipole moments are in random directions, or you all can see there's a diagram drawn over here. Okay, all these vectors, all these arrows are indicating the dipole moments. So you can see all the dipole moments are in random direction. So they will cancel each other out, and the net magnetic dipole moment is zero. Okay. Now, what if I align all these things like they have? If you all observe these three diagrams, you all can see in the last diagram, all the dipole moments have been aligned in one direction. Okay, they are in parallel to each other. So here the net dipole moment will have some value. Okay, in the first case, the value is zero. Net magnetic dipole moment is zero because all of them are in different directions. They'll cancel each other out. But in the last scenario, we can see some magnetic dipole moment. Okay, fine. So this point I've already explained. See, in the earlier section, you all have studied that atoms and molecules having unpaired electron possess a net magnetic dipole moment. As the dipole moments are randomly oriented, the resultant dipole moment is, however, zero. Okay, so this is something that we already know. Let's move ahead. Okay, see, as seen from the figure A and B, each atom molecule of a paramagnetic material possesses net magnetic dipole moment, but because of thermal agitation, these are randomly oriented. This is oriented, okay, not oriented. Okay, now students, here temperature also plays one important factor. Because of the external temperature, because of high temperature, they are randomly oriented. Okay, so if you all want to align them, like if you all want this A to become C, if you all want to the random orientation to be in one direction, you all also have to lower the external temperature, because high temperature leads to excitation. Okay, fine. This is one point. Due to this, the net magnetic moment, again, same thing they have repeated again and again. Okay, now let us look at this diagram. Okay, students, in this diagram, the block is a paramagnetic block. Okay, then there is external magnetic field like this from north to south direction. Okay, students, what happened in diamagnetic materials? The external field lines are repelled. They do not penetrate inside the material. But you all can see what is happening over here in paramagnetic. They are penetrating. They are literally moving from inside the material. Why? Because inside the paramagnetic material, this side acts like south pole and this side will act like north pole. Okay, so it is obvious, if this is acting like south pole, north will be attracted towards south. And if this, okay, and if this is acting like north pole, south will be attracted towards north. It is very obvious. Okay, fine. And you all can see the direction, you all can see the arrow. If you all remember magnetic lines of force, okay, in a bar magnet, so they are curved lines which move from north to south. Okay, but inside the magnetic field lines move from south to north. So that is what is happening over here. You all can see outside line is moving from north to south, but inside lines are moving from south to north. तुम लोग देख रहे हो direction तो same ही है दोनों का, but अंदर poles का position अलग हो गया. Okay, so outside the magnetic field lines are moving from north to south, and inside the material they are moving from south to north, which is what normally happens in magnetic materials. So paramagnetism, they possess magnetic properties. Okay, fine. I hope you all are understanding. You all can mark this if in your textbook if you all want. Okay, fine. See, when such materials, just pay attention where my cursor is. Okay, fine, or where the pen is. When such materials are placed in sufficiently strong external magnetic field at low temperature. Okay, low temperature is very much important. Most of the magnetic dipoles align themselves in the direction of the applied field. Okay, to align in the direction, basically you all can see in the external magnetic field, the direction of the magnetic field lines, basically this dipole moment. Just a minute. They are talking about this dipole moments. Okay, so these dipole moments will align themselves सेम एज द एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड. एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड का जो डायरेक्शन है वो सेम डायरेक्शन में सब पैरेलल हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, फाइन, ओके. Now this is when it is placed in a uniform magnetic field. What happens when it is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field? What happened in diamagnetic material? A diamagnetic material tries to oppose the external magnetic field, right? So when it is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, it moves from stronger part to weaker part. But here what is going to happen? Obviously the reverse. Here, when paramagnetic material is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, it tends to move itself from weaker region to stronger region because it is attracted to the external magnetic field. Okay, fine. I hope you all are understanding what is happening. Okay, fine. Now, if I have to show you all the magnetic, this thing, the YouTube one for paramagnetic materials. Just a minute. You all can see this another diagram, students. Please let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. All right. So you all can see over here there is a liquid inside, which is a paramagnetic liquid, and then there is a magnetic field provided over here at one side of this U-tube. You all can see what is happening. The liquid is rising here. Why? Because paramagnetic materials are attracted to the external magnetic field. Okay, as simple as that. You all can draw this diagram if you all want to support your answer. Like in this manner, you all can draw and show the diagram as well when you all are writing for paramagnetism and diamagnetism answer. Okay, that is up to you all. This diagram is important, but students, the diagram where you show the block placed in uniform magnetic field and all, this diagram is important. You all have to draw without fail. Okay, so here they have written about the YouTube experiment, which I just explained. Then what are this thing? See, so when the external magnetic field is removed, okay, what happens if I remove the external magnetic field? All right, then the magnetic dipoles get arranged in random directions again. So the external magnetic field helps to align them. When you all remove the external magnetic field, they again become random, and the net magnetic dipole moment again becomes 0. Okay, fine. So paramagnetism shows magnetic character only when external magnetic field is there. The next topic is there no ferromagnetism. Ferromagnetism is same like paramagnetism only, but ferromagnetism, they are more strong magnets. Why they are more strong magnets? The one important reason is that in ferromagnetism, when you all remove the external magnetic field, okay, the dipole moments do not become random. Whereas in paramagnetism, as soon as you will remove the external magnetic field, all the dipole moments go in random direction again. But this does not happen in ferromagnetism. So if you have to compare para and ferro, obviously a better magnet or the material that shows better magnetic properties is ferro one. Okay, fine. I hope you all are understanding. Next, these are examples that show paramagnetism: magnesium, lithium, molybdenum, etc., etc. What is this MnSO4, students? This is manganese sulfate. I'd written it somewhere. Okay, this is manganese sulfate. Okay, this is not M subscript N नहीं है. ये Mn manganese का जो symbol है ऐसा है. There is an error over here. Okay, it has, the N has gone into subscript. Okay, fine. All right. Now, very important point in paramagnetism is this law called Curie's law. Okay, Pierre Curie found this law. And what does this law state? That the magnetization, that is capital M, in a paramagnetic material. Okay, magnetization in a what was magnetization after all? Magnetization was nothing but in external magnetic field, the dipole moments are aligned. That was altogether magnetization. Okay, fine. When we keep the material inside solenoid there is already a magnetic field. So the material will acquire magnetic properties. Yes or no? So magnetization in a paramagnetic material is directly proportional to the applied magnetic field B, and it is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature T of the material. So this, please star mark this and keep. You all have to mention this also if you all get answer on paramagnetism. Okay, or what if you all just get some 2 marks question that write about Curie's law, then you all should know what it is. Okay, so the magnetization, you all can see magnetization is directly proportional to the magnetic field and inversely proportional to the temperature. What happens when you remove the proportionality sign? You get a constant. Constant over here is capital C. Okay, now students, they have nowhere mentioned what capital C is, so I want you all to write down over here that capital C is equal to capital C is equal to material specific Curie constant. Material specific Curie constant. Okay, capital C means over here it is a constant, some constant value which has occurred because I removed the proportionality sign. That is obvious. But what is that capital C? Capital C is nothing but material specific Curie constant. So it is different for different materials. So there might be some chart or something where they have given all the values, but you all should know what it is. Okay, material specific Curie constant. Let's move ahead. Students, we all know that B is mu naught into H. We have done this derivation already ahead, that B is equal to mu into H. Okay, fine. Yes or no? And what they have done is, in the formula, instead of B, they have substituted mu naught into H. Okay, in that Curie law. Now, if I take this H on the other side, if I take this H on the denominator, students, we know that magnetization and magnetic intensity. H means magnetic intensity, right? So if you all remember, magnetization was directly proportional to H, and when you all remove the proportionality sign, you get a constant which is nothing but magnetic susceptibility. I hope you all remember this. So magnetic susceptibility is nothing but M by H. Okay. So after substituting B's formula, take H on other side, and M by H is nothing but magnetic susceptibility. Okay, fine. Students, mu r, that was relative permeability. Mu r is nothing but 1 plus magnetic susceptibility. Okay. This was the formula. This was again done in the previous part of the chapter. So mu r is 1 plus x. The susceptibility. So what will be susceptibility? If I take 1 on this side, it will be mu r minus 1. Actually, there is no need to write this. I don't know why they have written it. If you all end it over here, like M by H is equal to C mu naught upon T, and then instead of M by H, put the susceptibility sign and write C mu naught by T. I think so that is more than enough, because what we are supposed to conclude, see students, C is a constant, mu naught is a constant. So we have to conclude that X is inversely proportional to the temperature. This is what the conclusion is from here. Okay, in paramagnetic materials. So thus when we increase the applied magnetic field and reduce the temperature, more number of magnetic moments align themselves in the direction of magnetic field, resulting in increase in magnetization. For a paramagnetic material, according to Curie's law, magnetization is directly proportional to magnetic field and inversely proportional to temperature. So if you all increase the magnetic field and decrease the temperature, it means that you all are increasing magnetization, as simple as that. So in order to increase magnetization, you all have to keep the temperature low. That is what this relation is indicating. Okay, fine. Alright, so with this we are done with paramagnetism. Okay, students, please let me know if you all have understood till now.
Yes, ma'am.
What about others?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Alright, just a minute.